Women of Reddit, how did you get over the fear of going to the gym for the first time and being judged? If you go to the gym regularly, do you judge other women? No, I don't judge other women at the gym. We are all there to do something good for ourselves, and I feel like that puts us all in the same boat with similar goals. If you go to the gym to judge others, you suck. Go home. I work out and coach. The only times I judge others are when they don't wipe down their equipment or when they are being mean/rude to others. Otherwise, I don't judge anyone. No, I don't judge women at all, but I do get excited to see women in the gym. Especially at the gym where I currently go to because it's very male-dominated. Honestly, the gym is one of the most positive places you can go. At least in my experience, can't speak for everyone of course. I've seen people go out of their way to help someone who looks like they're new and not sure what to do countless times. There's always a person willing to give you a tip or spot you if needed, and my personal favorite, regulars complimenting regulars on noticeable progress. Trust me, we're all there for the same reasons. No one is judging you unless you're making a fool of yourself by being. Which fictional characters are idolized by people who miss the entire point of their story? Not actually fictional, but The Wolf of Wall Street, Joker. And all those cringe posts on Facebook that's just pictures of him saying shit like, "I got your back in the darkest times." My dude, he doesn't have anyone's back. That's the fucking Joker. Holden Caulfield, The Catcher in the Rye. He wasn't being refreshingly rebellious, he was crying out for help. He was probably mentally ill, and definitely emotionally scarred by his brother's death and the unhealthy way his parents handled that tragedy. Nanomachines, Son, JD from Heathers, Romeo and Juliet, Jay Gatsby, Rick from Rick and Morty, Tony Soprano. For a while back in 2016, the romance between Harley Quinn and Joker was idolized by so many young couples in my city. The Punisher, Walter White, Scarface. So many wannabe gangstas and rappers with Scarface shirts and posters. Jerry from Tom and Jerry. He's a fucker. Tom is just defending his house. Joker, particularly the iteration from The Dark Knight. What job is absolutely overpaid? Influencers. If you even consider that a job. Senator/congressman. I can live with the bloated salaries they collect, it's the legalized insider trading that's the real problem. Soccer/football player. Amazon and Tesla CEO. Celebrities. Politicians. Hospital management. The bedside staff deserve a bigger cut of what they get. Football players, just imagine if even 1/4 of what they get paid went to charity. How many people that would help would be unreal. Sports players and CEOs. University sports coaches, med school/higher ed deans and department chairs, big marketing execs, myself included LMFAO. I'd say landlord, but that would imply that they do work. Politicians, they get paid so much to not listen to the people they're meant to represent and help, and in most cases they leave their country in a worse state than what it was when they went into their position. All entertainment stuff. It's so we have plenty of distraction from our miserable existence. Social media influencers. Actors. What are your thoughts on the hydrogen industry as a solution to climate change? Do some research into the energy density of hydrogen. It's quite low. When space isn't an issue, like anything ground-mounted, then it can work. I worked with a company that was building containerized hydrogen cracking systems that ran on solar. But for cars, it's not a good option. You can't cram enough hydrogen in to get the kW needed to have a decent range. Oh, the humanity. Not helping anytime soon, and a huge net negative to the climate. Intense electrical inputs needed to convert hydrocarbons into hydrogens. Net energy loss, and greatly putting huge strain on petroleum-based electric energy system. There's money in the field right now and it is interesting. Personally, I'd get involved with it if possible. I don't necessarily see it panning out in large scale anytime soon, but it could be a few decades of fun projects. It's got its applications. Probably not vehicles. It is critical for deep decarbonization to work, but it will be used almost exclusively as an intermediate for industrial processes to make fertilizer, steel, chemical, food. Answers only. Where are you from? Vegemite, lumpia, surströmming, pastel de nata, stroopwafel, poutine, mofongo, blue crabs and Old Bay on everything, clam chowder, baguette, camembert and red wine, garbage plate, red, green, or Christmas, fried gator tail and meth, Faygo Pop, Coney Island dogs, hot dish. What is the greatest comedy movie of all time? Blazing Saddles, Airplane, Naked Gun, or Blazing Saddles? I can't decide. Airplane and Naked Gun. Hot Fuzz, the movie that rewards repeat watching to an insane degree. Airplane is the answer, but Rat Race is a close second for me. Spinal Tap, Top Secret. The first time I saw Young Frankenstein and Austin Powers 2, I was literally gasping for air from laughing. Your mileage may vary. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Gods Must Be Crazy. Tropic Thunder for me. Hands down. Super Troopers. Spaceballs. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Dumb and Dumber. Why are you on Reddit right now? Bored at work? No, I'm not. I'm working. Woke up a bit early, and I'm bored and a bit sick. Procrastinating leaving bed by endlessly scrolling Reddit. Mom, stop checking on me. Yes, I know I have 100 other things to do. Procrastinating from writing a thesis. Procrastination is king. I'm on a train home after a night shift. Pooping. Answering your questions. Got called in early to work an 18-hour shift. Been sleeping and Redditing the first 6 hours away. I can't sleep. Sometimes people say interesting things. Me, not so much. My kitten decided to wake me up at 5 a.m. by reaching under the door and playing the doorstop spring like a bango. Waiting for my tool to recharge. I'm in a hospital bed, been here 8 days and probably 6 more before they send me home. Moto crash. Chemical engineers, what are your thoughts on Roundup? It's better to ask a toxicologist. You need to be asking chemists or biochemists. Chemical engineers might know how to make this product at scale, but won't how it works once deployed. Even a random lawn care forum would have better replies than the ones I've seen in here. In other words, just like COVID, there is no rational center, just opposing extremes thanks to bounded rationality and Wildavsky's core beliefs. It's banned in about 30 countries now. This is not a question engineers are equipped to answer well. From an engineering perspective, Roundup is effective at killing weeds. Questions related to health effects should be directed to environmental epidemiologists. There are better products than Roundup for pebble driveways. Roundup doesn't persist very long in the ground. That's why it's used in farming. Sodium chlorate used to be used for paths and gravel where you weren't going to plant anything. There are more modern chemicals that kill and prevent weeds for longer. I put it on my cereal. I'm not afraid. No, it kills the bees. Look at the big picture, in terms of the whole planet. I'm not a chemical engineer. What's the best response to "get back in the kitchen" jokes? Yeah, I typically say something like, "Great, since we're talking about the good old days now, why don't you go off to war and die?" My response to this is more crass since I've only ever heard it from male strangers. Shouldn't you be busy with getting drafted into a war? My dad actually made one of these jokes not too long ago, and my nan wasn't laughing because she either didn't get it or didn't hear it and dad was kinda making fun of her, so I just stage whispered, "I got it, I'm not laughing because it wasn't funny," and then bullied him for it being lowest effort, bottom of the barrel comedy that hasn't been funny since the 50s. I think my mom and aunt laughed more at my response than the actual joke. LOL. You mean where all the knives and poisons are? Okay, put bread on the table first. Had a man joke, "Women have such small feet so they can stand closer to the kitchen counter." I responded with, "Oh? Well, men have such large feet because they're always sticking them in their big mouths like you." Burst into laughter and point out how emasculating it is for a grown man so fragile he needs a mommy wife to put bread and cheese together. Sometimes I'll also ask if he needs his snot. What's a men's product that you advise other men to stay away from? Testosterone booster, supplements sold in supplement stores. Usually these supplements do fuck all to boost your testosterone and will just drain your wallet. 2-in-1 hair products or any multi-purpose shower products. They are the lowest tier product you could possibly use and aren't good for your skin or hair. An interesting thing I've realized on Reddit, men prefer women's personal grooming items and women prefer men's. Not a specific men's product but paying for dating apps is one I guide other men away from. Cheap tools. Cheap power drills. Just pay the extra money for the next level up and accept that it's more expensive. You will have it for 20 plus years. Repairs around the house suck with shitty tools. Years ago I wanted a little break from Dove for Men and bought Axe having no idea. Thought my 15-year-old daughter was going to disown me. No, turns out Axe is not for men in their 40s. At least she became my fashion and grooming consultant after that. Anything branded as "for men" based only on things like packaging, color, scent. Nair. Axe body spray. Who, in your experience, shames men more for showing emotion? This reminds me of my friend's ex-wife. She went on a little rant about how men need to show more emotions and open up more. I pointed out that we do and just stop because a lot of women tend to shit on us for it. Of course she went on to blame men for it with her friends chiming in with all the buzzwords. Not even like 15 minutes later, rounded up, I kid you not, she told a story of how her ex cried to her once and how she shitted on him for it. I mean calling him every word from bitch to pussy to soft. Slapped him and told him to be a man. Of course her friends was laughing hysterically the whole time. This isn't even close to my only example, or most messed up, just the most ironic one. Guys are more likely to tease you about it, but usually in a playful/non-judgmental way. Women are more likely to be serious. From my own bias/experience, women. The men in my life have been, mostly, supportive of each other, but certain women I don't think are used to reacting to guys doing that and either don't know how to react or react badly. Ironically, a couple of them have also complained. Meat eaters. What type of meat, if any, is off your menu for ethical reasons? Primates, cetaceans, brain and lymphatic tissue of any animal, dogs, ortolan. It's not tasty enough to make it worth the torture. Anything that is cooked alive. Turtle meat because I like turtles. Never liked the idea of eating something that was cooked alive. Cephalopods. Those little suckers are smart. Like at least dolphin smart, shark fin, octopus. I'm pretty sure those little homies are semi-sapient. Plus when the space cephalopods show up I want to be clear I didn't eat their little cousins. Long pig, human, I don't do humans. Their faces are just too realistic. Anything's dick. It just seems mean. Veal. I remember being a kid and my mom made us breaded veal and said it was chicken and when we finished announced, you just ate baby cow. I cried so much lol. I don't eat seafood in general because I have the palate of a child, but I tell myself it's because I don't want to contribute to overfishing. How would the demolition of a skyscraper in a densely populated area like New York City take place? Like they did Deutsche Bank in Lower Manhattan which was damaged 9/11. One piece at a time. Carefully. You take it apart starting from the top. Tear it apart from the top down, and send all the debris down chutes or via cranes. This can even be done with temporary roofing so the demolition isn't visible, dust doesn't get everywhere, and it protects against falling debris. Brah! To perfectly collapse large buildings in a densely populated urban area, you'll need 2 commercial airplanes and a slightly burnt passport. They use carefully placed and timed explosives to control the collapse of the building. There's tons of videos on YouTube of it. 9/11. They demolish individual layers in a timed explosion so that everything falls pretty much straight down instead of tilting. Engineers who do product development work, what is your process for prototyping and or concept development? Take a basic sketching course. Learn how to sketch. This way you can do what architects do. They just sketch something on the back of a napkin and it looks impressive because it is done live and they have style. Might wanna ask over on r/industrial design as they are specialized in product development. Waterfall. I'm a senior product development engineer in orthopedics. Most of our early concepting is done via 3D printing, but if we really need some functional checks we will machine prototypes. Just know it's very costly to set up a machine on a small run. This is usually handled through our supply chain team. As an engineer in HVAC right now, how do I transition to what you guys are doing right now? What's your job title called? Thanks for any help. If you are interested in the whole value stream and not just engineering, and you can teach yourself, quit and start your own company. There is no right way, just less wrong. What is the best non-sexual, non-drug related physical sensation you've ever experienced? Finally scratching my leg after my cast was taken off. Had it for 2 months in summer, it was hell. I still remember almost crying tears of joy when they took it off. When that nose block you've had for 3 days finally clears up. A hot shower after a week of camping. When your sinus has been blocked and it begins to clear. Sometimes there's little pops, cracks and one time a lengthy fizz. Feels amazing. When you stretch your whole body and hit the sweet spot in your back. Farting away a stomachy ache. I am a sucker for back scratches. I got a horrible poison ivy rash while camping for a few days. That first scalding hot shower after getting back home, hot water pressure right on the rash. I'll be chasing that high for the rest of my life. I shaved my head once and having the wind on my scalp for the first time ever was fantastic. Bed sheets on freshly shaved legs. So soft. Waking up in the morning and when you yawn and your legs be shaking. This is gross but I pulled a booger out and it felt like it was from the middle of my brain deep. It was fucking. What is a myth that is passed from generation to generation, and people still believe it? I got pregnant in 2002 and people legit told me I shouldn't raise my arms over my head because the cord would wrap around the baby's neck. Not just great-grandmas telling me this either. People at my restaurant job fussed at me all the time for getting things off high shelves. Insane. Bulls become angry seeing the color red. Over-cracking your knuckles will lead to arthritis. Swallowed gum will stay in your stomach for 7 years. Never seen a single wad of gum in the hundreds of thousands of stomachs I've looked into. That we use 10% of our brain power or capacity. This was actually proven to be bullshit. That shaving makes hair grow back thicker and longer. That your generation is always the last good generation. Mom told me if I shaved my legs, the hair would grow back thicker. It doesn't. My friend's friend hid a tab of acid in his shoe, it soaked into his skin and he is now in a mental asylum and permanently believes he is a glass of orange juice. That Marilyn Manson took out his ribs to suck his pee-pee. That the hymen is a freshness seal like a Snapple cap, has any bearing on virginity? How long do you want your partner to last in bed? If it's PIV, 10 to 15 minutes, the rest around it is what will be more enjoyable most of the time anyway. Longer than me. Depends on how much fun I'm having. 5 to 10 minutes for PIV. This is gonna sound so cheesy but the best sex I've ever had lasted like 10 minutes on our wedding night cause it just had so much emotion and ended in both of us finishing. But I've also had sloppy drunk sex that lasts 45 minutes that's awesome cause we're drunk AF and willing to be a little crazier than usual. So I feel like the time is the least relevant part faced with tears of joy. Personally, he helps me get off, usually, before we have sex. So once we start having sex I can orgasm quite a few more times. But after a few I'm tired and I feel like anything more than 10 to 15 minutes of that would end up being too much. There's definitely a thing of too much of a good thing lol. My boyfriend keeps being insecure about his time, but to me it's simple, if we both came, that's perfect. He never failed to deliver that, therefore I'm happy. I mean, a quickie is a quickie, and if we have all night then we have all night. 10 minutes. I can't